Derek Moreland laughed before he greeted her. The sound moved across the ballroom faster than the waiters could look away. It struck the crystal glasses, the silver awards on the long table, the great screen where Moreland freight trucks rolled through a sunrise, filmed to look cleaner than any road Faye Larkin had ever known. She stood beneath the banner for the annual partnership dinner, in a navy dress bought from a church basement rack, one hand inside the pocket where the unsigned waiver waited, the other held by the man she had married that afternoon. Noah Keene did not tighten his grip. He never performed comfort for an audience. His hand stayed warm around hers, steady and work-roughened, the thumb scarred by a tool slip he had once described as foolish and then refused to dramatize. He wore his best jacket, which still pulled at one shoulder, because Mrs. Ortiz at the laundromat had altered it between customers. His boots were clean but old. His wedding ring was a plain strip of brushed steel, made by a retired machinist near the rail yard because there had been no time, and because, Faye had believed, there had been no money for anything else. Derek saw the ring. Then he saw Noah's boots. Then he laughed. "Well," he said, lifting his champagne glass, "it's true after all." Every table seemed to pause. Forks hovered. A photographer lowered his camera, not out of mercy, but to choose a better angle. Derek crossed the polished floor with Serena Bexley beside him, her cream satin gown shining like poured milk. Serena's father owned cold storage contracts Derek needed, and Derek had worn his hunger for that alliance more openly than he had ever worn his love for Faye. "Faye," Derek said, "and this must be your husband." "Noah Keene," Noah said. "That's all?" Derek glanced behind him, inviting the executives to enjoy the moment. "No title? No company? No family name I should pretend to remember?" Serena's eyes drifted over Noah's jacket. "Perhaps he has a trade. That can be very grounding." "He fixes things," Faye said. Derek's smile sharpened. "Does he? Then he must be delighted. You have always needed repair." Laughter rose in small, careful bursts, the kind people use when a powerful man tells them cruelty is safe. Faye felt heat climb her neck. She had once stood beside Derek in rooms like this and believed the softened look he gave her was protection. That was before her father died, buried under debt and accusations. Before Derek absorbed Larkin roots into Moreland Freight and called it mercy. Before he ended their engagement in a conference room and told her grief had made her unstable, unsuitable, and expensive. Now he looked at Noah with the ease of a man kicking something he thought could not kick back. "I must congratulate you," Derek said. "Faye always claimed she wanted honest love. I suppose she finally found a man poor enough to prove it." A woman at the closest table covered a laugh with her napkin. Someone whispered, "After Derek Moreland, imagine that." Serena smiled without showing teeth. Faye's old reflex rose, ugly and familiar. Apologize. Retreat. Make less trouble. Survive the room. Then Noah's thumb moved once against her hand. Not a command. A reminder. She took the cream envelope from her pocket and held it out. "Your legal department told me I had to appear tonight." Derek's expression changed by a fraction. "They told you to sign. In exchange for a check and my silence. For your stability. For waiving any remaining founder claim, abandoning my request for my father's personnel file, and accepting responsibility for transfers I never authorized from the Driver Relief Fund." The room quieted so sharply, the promotional film's music became audible from the wall speakers. Derek took one step closer. "This is not the place. You made it the place when you sent a notary to my grandmother's apartment and threatened her lease." Noah turned his head toward Derek. He had been still through every insult, but at Alma's name something in him cooled. Derek noticed and enjoyed it. "Ah, the husband has a temper. Careful. A temper is expensive when you lack a bank." Faye opened the envelope, showing the blank signature line. "I'm not signing." Serena's father, Barrett Bexley, rose from his table. "Derek, handle this privately." Derek should have listened. Pride did not let him. He took the unsigned waiver, tapped it against Noah's chest, and smiled for the witnesses. "Take your wife home," he said. "When the eviction notice comes for Alma, don't send me a man with a toolbox. Send me a bank." The words landed where he meant them to land. Faye's breath caught. Her grandmother's building had been under pressure for months from an old lean Derek had somehow discovered and fed. He knew fear by name. He always had. Noah accepted the envelope from Derek's hand. "Do you have anything else to say to her?" The question was quiet enough that people leaned in. Derek laughed. "Yes. Enjoy your poor husband, Faye. He suits the life you chose." Noah placed Faye's coat over her shoulders with such patient care that the gesture made Derek's performance look vulgar. Faye wanted to say something final, something that would cut and glitter. Instead, she looked at Derek and said, "You were never afraid of my poverty. You were afraid I might stop being ashamed of it." Then she walked out with her husband, while the ballroom pretended to return to dinner. Outside, the rain had stopped. The street shone black beneath the lamps. Faye made it to the edge of the awning before the shaking began, and she hated herself for it. Noah stood beside her and let silence do its plain work. "I'm sorry," she said finally. "You were humiliated because of me." "No," he said. "I was humiliated by people who needed an audience to feel tall. You should be angry." "I am." "You don't look angry." "I try not to hand my anger to men like Derek. They spend it too quickly." She let out a breath that almost became a laugh. Then a black sedan slid to the curb. The rear window lowered. An older woman in a severe camel coat looked out. "Mr. Keene," she said, "Zurich is on the line. The debt window closes in 38 minutes." Faye turned slowly. Noah's face changed, not with guilt alone, but with the fear of someone whose hidden room has just opened, while the wrong person is standing in the doorway. The woman looked at Faye. "Mrs. Keene." The title sounded official in her mouth, heavy with knowledge Faye did not have. "What debt window?" Faye asked. "Noah," the woman said. "If you want the servers preserved, authorization has to happen now." Faye pulled her hand from Noah's. He let her, which hurt because it was respectful, and because respect was not the same as truth. "What is she talking about?" Noah looked at the street, then back at her. Moreland Freight's senior notes became callable tonight when Derek tried to force the Bexley merger before audit clearance. "I control most of that debt through different funds." Faye stared at him. "You fix trucks." "I do." "Noah, I also buy companies when the people running them are about to destroy evidence." The city seemed to grow quieter around her. "You can buy Moreland Freight?" "I can take control tonight." "You stood in there while he mocked you for being poor." "I am poor in many daily ways." "Do not make poverty poetic to a woman who counts grocery coins." He flinched. She was glad. She needed him to feel the shape of it. The woman in the sedan stepped out, phone in hand. "They need you." Noah did not take the phone. He kept his eyes on Faye. "I didn't marry you for this. You let me marry a lie. I let you choose a life with the man who eats soup with you on Wednesdays, fixes Alma's heater, and loves you badly enough to think silence was protection. The money is real. So is that man. You should have told me before the courthouse." "Yes." "Why didn't you?" "Because yesterday you were choosing whether to marry a man who seemed to own almost nothing. I wanted that choice to be clean." "And tonight?" "Tonight Derek threatened Alma. Tonight he made clear he would use every hour before morning to bury what your father left behind." Faye looked at the sedan, at the glowing phone, at the man who had become her husband in a municipal room that smelled of dust and carnations. Her anger was sharp, but under it something else moved. The memory of Derek's face when she mentioned the relief fund, the fear he had hidden too late. "What evidence?" she asked. "Your father challenged safety reports before he died. Driver complaints vanished. Relief fund money went to a shell vendor. Derek planned to merge with Bexley, purge records, and leave your signature on enough forms to blame you if anyone asked. How long have you known? Long enough to owe you a better answer." "Yes," she said. "You do." He lowered his head. Not theatrically, just enough to accept it. Faye wrapped the coat tighter around herself. She had been dragged by rich men through too many rooms to mistake money for salvation. Still, truth had a clock, and Derek had threatened her grandmother with one hand while holding a shredder with the other. "If you do this," she said, "you do not use my name as decoration. No. You do not let newspapers turn me into the weeping wronged woman beside the clever husband. No. You do not decide what I can bear to know. No. And tomorrow, when Derek learns his company belongs to the man he mocked, I speak before you do." For the first time that night, Noah almost smiled, not with triumph, with pride. He took the phone. "This is Noah Keene," he said. "Execute the purchase. Freeze all disposal orders. Lock the servers. Notify the emergency trustee. No press until morning. Preserve every communication channel at Moreland Freight." By the time the ballroom lights went dark above them, the company had already begun changing hands. Derek learned at 2:13 in the morning. The first notice said the senior debt had been called. The second said the majority noteholder had converted. The third arrived on Moreland Freight letterhead he no longer controlled. Noah Keene had assumed authority as controlling owner, pending emergency restructuring. Derek read the name 3 times. Then he threw his glass at the wall and shouted, "The mechanic!" At 7, Faye entered Moreland Freight headquarters with no sleep and a wedding ring cold on her finger. The lobby was all dark glass and polished stone, built to make labor invisible. Employees clustered in corners, whispering. A security guard who had once escorted Faye out after Derek fired her stared at his shoes when she passed. Lenora, the woman from the sedan, walked beside Noah with a folder thick enough to stop a door. Derek stood near the elevators in last night's tuxedo shirt, his face gray with rage. Serena stood beside him, and Barrett Bexley leaned on a cane he did not need. "This is fraud," Derek said. "No," Noah replied. "Fraud is why we're here." Derek stepped toward him. "You think buying distressed paper makes you a king? No company should have a king. You know nothing about freight. I know what happens when men who know nothing about labor control people who do." Derek's mouth twisted. "You stood there and let me mock you." Noah looked at Faye. It was useful. The humiliation returned to Derek changed, like a weapon found in his own house. Noah turned to the employees watching from the mezzanine. "Mrs. Keene speaks first." Every face shifted toward Faye. The title still unsettled her. Wife could mean witness, ornament, hostage, shield. She decided it would mean none of those unless she allowed it. "My father was Orrin Larkin," she said. "Some of you drove his routes. Some of you heard he mismanaged accounts. Some of you were told I approved transfers from the driver relief fund. I did not come here to watch one rich man punish another. I came for records, personnel files, safety complaints, relief fund accounts. The documents Derek refused to release after my father died." Derek laughed coldly. "Your husband owns the company for one morning, and you already sound like an executive. When I was engaged to you, you called my silence loyalty. Now I speak and you call it ambition. Maybe my position was never the problem." A breath moved through the lobby. Not applause, not yet, but recognition. Noah told Lenora to open an employee forum by 10, and ban retaliation. Barrett Bexley said, "You cannot invite disgruntled labor to rummage through a private company." Noah glanced at the lobby full of people who had moved freight, while executives moved blame. "I just bought the private company." They went upstairs. The dispatch floor looked smaller than Faye remembered. The route screens still glowed. The coffee machine still rattled like a tired engine. Her old desk had a plastic fern on it. Someone else's mug sat where she used to keep her father's dented green thermos when he visited at dawn. She stopped. Noah noticed. "What are you looking for?" "My bottom drawer." Derek, who had followed despite being told not to, said, "Company property." Lenora produced a preservation order. "Open it." A manager unlocked the drawer. It held old route binders, dead pens, a cracked calculator, and a packet of peppermint tea gone pale with age. No thermos, no lunchbox, no file. Faye closed the drawer slowly. Derek's smile returned. "Sentiment is not evidence." "No," she said, "but fear is. And you look afraid." The employee forum began with suspicion and ended with people lining the walls because there were not enough chairs. Drivers spoke of skipped inspections. Mechanics spoke of retread tires marked as new. Billing clerks described checks to a vendor called Kestrel Yard Services for employee emergency dispersals that no injured employee had received. An older dispatcher named Mina Cho admitted she had been ordered to change route delays from mechanical to weather. A mechanic named Lowell Finch said Orrin Larkin fought Derek about unsafe tires 6 days before his fatal stroke. At first, people answered Noah. He saw it, understood, and moved to the back of the room. That was the first thing he did right after the lie. He made space. Faye wrote until her hand cramped. She did not have a title, but she knew what questions mattered. Who signed? Who changed the code? Who was told not to make a copy? Who lost overtime after complaining? Who remembered Orrin's last week? By noon, the company was no longer a building Noah had bought. It was a room full of buried voices learning they might be heard. Serena found Faye in the stairwell during a break. "You should stop," Serena said, cream coat bright against the concrete. "Derek is emotional. My father is not. Banks listen to him. Courts listen to paper, not sobbing." "Then bring paper," Faye said. "We're collecting plenty." Serena's eyes sharpened. "You think a few workers' stories can survive against contracts?" "I think contracts written over people still leave fingerprints. You married a hidden financier and call yourself exploited. That is a delicate performance." Faye stepped down one stair, enough that they stood level. "Derek humiliated me because he is cruel. You are trying to frighten me because you are careful. Do not mistake careful cruelty for intelligence." Serena's face hardened. "Enjoy being Mrs. Keen while it protects you." "It doesn't protect me," Faye said. "It irritates you. Those are different things." By evening, Derek's statement hit the news. Former dispatcher marries secret investor after ex's company takeover. Poor husband revealed as financier. Revenge. Bride rocks. Freight giant. Gold digger appeared within minutes. Unstable followed. Bitter was everywhere. The world had a small vocabulary for women who embarrassed men with money. Faye was in the archive room when Noah brought her soup in a paper cup. "Tomato?" she asked. "With too much pepper." "Did you buy the cafeteria too?" "No, it remains hostile territory." She took the cup because hunger was not surrender. He sat across from her, leaving enough distance for anger to breathe. "Derek says I married you to ruin him," she said. "You didn't. You sound certain." "You married me because Alma needed a second guarantor after Derek revived the lien on her building. Because we had been eating together every Wednesday for 7 months. Because I asked without pity. Because you were tired of standing alone. Because I knew you remove onions from soup and pretend not to. Because maybe you loved me a little." Her throat tightened. "You kept track?" "Yes." "You also kept track of debt windows?" "Yes." "That is the part I hate." "I know." She looked at the boxes stacked between them. "I don't know how to be married to a man everyone thinks I tricked, and who forgot to mention he could buy my ex's company before sunrise. I didn't forget. I decided. That is worse." His agreement left her with nowhere easy to throw the next sentence. "I arranged independent counsel for you," he said. "Not Lenora, not anyone tied to me. If you want separation, I'll sign whatever protects you." The word separation moved through the dusty room like a draft. "I don't want to decide my marriage while Derek still owns the story," Faye said. "Then we change it." "No. We find the truth. Stories can be bought." Noah lowered his eyes. "Then we find the truth." They found the first hard crack after midnight. Simone Pott, a billing clerk, remembered Kestrel Yard Services because the invoices always came with strange urgency. They were marked as worker relief payments, but no worker recognized the vendor. Lenora traced the registration to a mailbox. Noah traced the bank route to a closed account. Faye traced the signature on the authorization to a shape that made her hand go cold. Orrin Larkin, 9 months after his death. "This is not his signature," she said. Lenora adjusted her glasses. "Forgery can be established by comparison." "No. I mean, whoever forged it never saw him sign when he was angry. My father's O opened at the top when he rushed. This closes." They found 14 more invoices before dawn. Derek had not only blamed her father, someone had kept using him after death, like a tool left hanging in a shed. The next day, Faye went to the loading dock. Drivers were angry. They had reason to be. Bexley contracts were freezing. Customers were calling. News vans blocked the gate. Workers who had survived Derek now feared being sacrificed to Noah's investigation. Faye climbed onto the low concrete platform where dispatchers checked cargo seals. Nobody listened until she struck a metal seal against the railing. The sharp ring cut through the dock noise. "I cannot ask you to trust me because of my last name or my ring," she said. "But I know this place does not move because Derek smiles at investors. It moves because dispatch answers at 4 in the morning, because mechanics patch what should have been replaced, because drivers make impossible windows and then get blamed for weather. If anyone asks you to hide, alter, or destroy records, bring them to the archive room. If Bexley pulls contracts, we rebuild clean. If invoices freeze, wages come before executive claims." A driver called, "And if we get fired?" Noah stood by the dock door. "No retaliation. Wage reserve is funded. Mrs. Keene reviews the guarantee before noon." A few workers laughed, not cruelly. An older driver named Tuck Alvarez stepped forward. "Orrin Larkin once drove through a blizzard to bring my wife a corrected paycheck after payroll failed." He pulled a folded paper from his coat. "I kept this. Didn't know if it mattered." It was a way station slip from 3 years earlier. On the back, in Orrin's blocky print, were 4 lines. "Retreads unsafe. Derek pushing numbers. Bexley wants clean books. Copies in 41 if anything happens." Faye's pulse jumped. "Truck 41? Lowell Finch, the mechanic, rubbed his jaw. "Old blue tractor. South lot unless they scrapped it." Derek arrived before they opened the cab, which told Faye more than his shouting did. "You are trespassing in a restricted equipment area," he snapped, striding across the gravel with 2 lawyers and Serena behind him. Noah held up the disposal freeze order. "No asset movement." Derek pointed at Faye. "This is obsession. Your father had a stroke because he was drowning in mistakes. Stop turning his failure into a conspiracy." Faye stood beside the dead blue tractor. "You ordered this truck scrapped last week." "Because it is scrap." "Then you won't mind us looking." Derek's gaze moved to the cab and back. There it was again. Fear. Faye climbed inside. The cab smelled of dust, old vinyl, and rust. She searched the glove compartment, the visor, behind the seat. Nothing. Then she remembered her father's habit of hiding important things in containers, too ordinary to respect. "The thermos," she whispered. Lowell frowned. There was one under the passenger seat during cleanout. Thought it was junk. Faye reached beneath the seat until grit cut her fingers. Her hand closed on dented metal. She pulled out the green thermos with the cracked red lid. For a moment she was 8 again, watching Oren pour coffee before dawn. Then she was 24 at his funeral, while Derek whispered that grief made people imagine enemies. Her hands shook, but she unscrewed the lid. Inside, sealed in plastic, was a flash drive, 3 fuel receipts, and a strip of maintenance log. Derek lunged. Noah stepped into his path and caught his wrist, not violently, not dramatically, just with enough certainty to stop him. "Don't." Derek stared at him as if seeing him for the first time. Faye climbed down, holding the thermos against her chest. Serena whispered, "Derek, what did you do?" He shook Noah off. "That could be anything." "Yes," Faye said. "That's why you ran." The flash drive changed everything. It held scanned maintenance complaints, photographs of worn retreads, emails between Derek and Barrett Bexley about cutting safety costs, and a spreadsheet showing worker relief money diverted to Kestrel Yard Services. There was also an unfinished letter from Oren Larkin to state transportation regulators. He accused Derek of falsifying compliance before a Bexley-backed expansion. At the bottom of the draft was one line that broke Faye more gently than any accusation. "Faye will know where." She read it alone in the archive room. For 2 years, Derek had convinced her she understood nothing. Her father had believed the opposite until his last attempt at truth. Noah knocked before entering. "I don't want comfort if it's just guilt," she said. "I can stand here for other reasons." "Name one." "I loved your father for letting a hungry boy wash up in the driver bathroom and pretending he had hired him to sweep. I love you for making a frightened doc listen without lying to them. I am furious that you had to find him in a thermos. I am guilty too, but guilt is not the only thing in the room." She looked at him then. Without secrecy, Noah seemed less powerful and more human. That frightened her more. Power could be challenged. Humanity asked for mercy. "You knew my father?" "A little. Enough to remember his red-lidded thermos and that he cursed at vending machines." A memory returned. Oren saying a boy near the yard had pride sharp enough to cut bread. Faye had been a teenager then, half listening. "That was you. One of the times. You should have told me." "Yes." "My father saw you hungry?" "Yes." "And years later you bought the company that stole from him?" "Partly for him," Noah said. "Partly for the workers, partly for you. Partly because men like Derek build locked rooms and assume no one will learn keys. Do not make yourself noble. I'm not. I hid things. I made your choice less clean while telling myself I was preserving it." The honesty exhausted her more than excuses would have. "What do you need from me?" he asked. She looked at the thermos, the drive, the papers. "Do not buy my forgiveness with justice." His eyes closed briefly. "When this is over, I still decide what this marriage becomes. Yes. And if I decide I can't stay, leaving me will cost you nothing." She believed him. That was the trouble. The hearing took place 6 days later in the freight training center beside the dock because Faye refused to let the truth be moved to a polished downtown room. Folding chairs filled the scuffed floor. Drivers stood along the walls. Cameras crowded the back. State officials sat at a plastic table with microphones that squealed whenever someone touched them. Derek arrived in a tailored suit and spoke like a man who still trusted Polish. His lawyer attacked the acquisition as predatory, the marriage as suspicious, Faye as bitter. Derek expressed regret for mocking Noah, then used that apology as a ladder back to arrogance. "Embarrassment does not make claims true," he said. "A quiet man with a hidden fortune is still a hidden man. Ask why he deceived his wife before you believe he rescued her." The blow landed because it contained truth. Noah's face did not move, but Faye saw his hand tighten once on the table. When Faye stood, she did not begin with Noah. "My father believed every route told the truth eventually," she said. "A lazy dispatcher writes delay and moves on. A good one asks why." She built the chain piece by piece, deleted maintenance complaints. Tire invoices altered to show new purchases where retreads had been installed. Relief fund transfers to Kestrel, authorized with forged Orrin Larkin signatures after his death. Bank routes connecting Kestrel to Bexley subsidiaries. Fuel receipts matching unscheduled runs to a warehouse used for off-book tire storage. Emails where Derek wrote, "Orrin is sentimental about safety. Keep him away from final numbers." A message from Serena warning that legacy objections had to be neutralized before merger. Serena went pale. Derek stared at the table. Faye placed the thermos down last. "My father hid copies because he knew the company would not protect truth. He wrote that I would know where to look. Derek spent 2 years convincing everyone I was unstable, because grief was easier to discredit than evidence." Derek's attorney objected. State officials demanded order. Then Serena stood. "Sit down," Derek hissed. She did not. Her composure had cracked into fear and fury. "You told me the Larkin problem was contained," she said. Her attorney grabbed her sleeve. Serena pulled free. "You said the old man had no copies, that the daughter had been frightened off, that Kestrel would be dissolved before merger. You said the signatures were handled." The room erupted. Derek rose so fast his chair fell. "Shut up!" Noah stood, not to speak for Faye, only to block the aisle when Derek turned as if to flee. For one unguarded moment, Derek looked across the room at Faye, not as a former lover, not as a woman he could shame, but as the person who had finally carried the truth to a place he could not control. After the hearing, while reporters chased Serena, Derek found Faye by the loading dock. He looked older in the gray afternoon. "I did love you once," he said. The sentence came years late and carried too little. "You loved who you were when I admired you." He swallowed. "Maybe." "No, not maybe." He looked toward the yard. "I thought if I made the company large enough, no one could look back and question how it grew. My father looked. Your father was in the way." There it was, the closest thing to truth he had ever given. "And me?" she asked. "You were supposed to understand." "I did," Faye said. "I understood that you wanted my father's roots, my silence, my admiration, and my gratitude for being robbed politely. I understood late, but I understood." Derek glanced at her ring. "Do you love him?" Faye looked through the dock window. Noah stood inside with a group of workers, listening while Mina pointed at a schedule board. He had bought a company overnight and still looked most natural beside people arguing about roots. "I'm deciding how to love him honestly." Derek flinched, perhaps because it was not designed to hurt him. "I'm sorry," he said. She believed he was sorry for losing, sorry for being exposed, perhaps even sorry for the look on her face the night he mocked her husband. But remorse without repair was only another request. "Tell investigators where the money went," she said. "That is the apology you can still afford." He nodded, cornered enough to imitate courage, and walked away. The company did not heal quickly. Trucks still broke. Customers still threatened to leave. Workers still distrusted offices where promises had gone to die. News vans still waited for photographs of Faye looking vengeful or fragile. Noah removed Derek from authority. Serena's family contracts collapsed under investigation. Barrett Bexley resigned from boards and discovered privacy. Kestrel Yard Services became a phrase in legal filings, then in the angry mouths of workers who had donated from paychecks, while executives stole the fund meant to protect them. Orrin Larkin's name was cleared in language too dry for the life it returned. He acted in good faith. He raised timely safety concerns. He did not authorize improper transfers. His objections were suppressed. Faye read the statement alone at her old dispatch desk, now brought back from storage. She expected triumph. Instead, grief arrived cleanly for the first time, without Derek's voice inside it. Noah knocked on the open door. "Come in," she said. He carried 2 coffees and a small cardboard box. "From Alma." Inside was a stack of index cards tied with blue kitchen twine. Her grandmother's handwriting covered the top card. Things your father said when pretending not to give advice. Faye laughed and cried at once. The first card read, "Never trust a man who is rude to dispatch." The second read, "Cheap tires become expensive funerals." The third read, "If Faye asks why twice, answer both times." Noah read that one and winced. "I failed." "You did." "I am learning to fear index cards." "Good." He placed a small object on the desk, a steel cargo seal, cleaned and bent into a simple oval. Not a ring, not jewelry, a reminder. "Lowell made it from the seal you struck on the dock railing," Noah said. "He said you woke the building up with it." Faye held it, ugly, industrial, perfect. "I'm moving back to Alma's for a while," she said. Noah's face changed, but he nodded. "All right. You promised leaving would cost me nothing." "Yes. I'm not leaving the marriage today." His breath caught. "But I need to know who I am when I am not standing in a crisis with you. I need dinners that are not evidence reviews. I need Wednesday soup without secret acquisition plans. I need to be angry and have you not vanish into noble silence." "I can try," he said after a pause. "I will fail sometimes. Quiet is where I hide when I am afraid. Money is where I hide when quiet fails. I don't want to hide from you, but wanting isn't knowing how." Faye closed her fingers around the seal. "That is the first unpolished thing you've said. I have several more. Most are worse." She smiled. Spring came slowly to the freight yard. Truck 41 was moved to the entrance of the training center, not as a shrine, but as a warning with wheels. A small sign explained that evidence hidden by a worker had restored safety protections for hundreds of employees. Moreland Freight became Larkin Road and Rail after one employee vote. So heated, Mina Cho threatened to settle the matter by arm wrestling. Noah transferred part of ownership into an employee trust. Faye took no executive title at first. Then she became records liaison, then safety route auditor, then finally accepted a title her father would have laughed himself hoarse over, director of accountability. Derek cooperated late and incompletely, but enough to expose accounts that could not remain hidden. Serena's testimony became a negotiation whispered through lawyers. Barrett Bexley's empire did not explode. It shrank, contract by contract, under the weight of documents and witnesses. Faye and Noah had Wednesday soup. At first in Alma's apartment, where Alma watched Noah over knitting needles and asked where his money slept, whether it bit, and why he let Faye think he was poor. Noah answered every question, sometimes badly. Alma corrected him. Faye let her. Then soup happened in the break room, at a diner near the rail crossing, on the steps outside the legal clinic, where Rhea Knoll reviewed Faye's independent rights and pronounced the marriage salvageable if the man keeps telling the truth before it becomes evidence. Noah told Faye about the first company he bought, a cannery stripped by owners who left workers unpaid. He told her how wealth had come to him as leverage, not glamour, and how plain living became both penance and disguise. Faye told him how humiliation works slowly before it works publicly. First, someone corrects your dress, then your laugh, then your understanding of documents, until one day he can accuse you in a ballroom, and part of you wonders if he prepared the room better than you prepared your life. Noah listened. When he wanted to apologize for all men, she told him not to be theatrical. He apologized for himself instead. Their marriage became real, not in one grand confession, but in ordinary revisions. It became real when Faye missed the bus after a 14-hour audit and found Noah waiting in his old pickup, not the sedan Lenora preferred. He did not say he had worried. He said, "Alma threatened soup restrictions if I let you walk in sleet." A blanket warmed near the vent. It became real when Noah received an invitation to speak at a finance conference about ethical acquisitions, and Faye wrote no on the reply card because the company was hosting Driver Safety Day. He looked at the card and said, "Correct." It became real when Faye woke from a dream of Derek laughing and told Noah the next morning instead of hiding it. He asked, "Do you want me closer or warned?" She said, "Warned today. Closer eventually." He accepted both, and because he did not punish her pace with wounded nobility, eventually arrived sooner. When they moved into a small brick row house 2 blocks from Alma, it had no grand staircase, no marble, and no view except a rail line and a stubborn pear tree in the alley. Noah owned buildings in cities Faye had never seen. He signed the lease because she liked the cracked yellow kitchen, and because it was near the bus, near Alma, near the company without being inside it. They unpacked books, pans, Oren's index cards, Noah's tools. The polished cargo seal went on the shelf by the door. Their steel wedding rings stayed on their hands, scratched now by work and dishwater. At midnight, rain tapped the kitchen window. Faye watched Noah struggle with a curtain rod. "You can buy a freight company in one night," she said, "but curtains defeat you." The company had clearer instructions. She laughed, and the sound filled the kitchen before either of them could become solemn. Noah crossed the room and stopped close enough for refusal. "I love you." "You've said that before." "I know. I wanted to say it with no purchase pending." "No callable notes?" "None." "No hostile takeover?" "Only of the curtain rod, and I'm losing." "No hidden board vote?" "No." She touched his shirt. "Then say it again." "I love you." This time, when she kissed him, there was no ballroom behind them, no ex watching, no company changing hands in the dark. There was only rain, crooked curtains, the rail line humming beyond the alley, and a quiet man learning that silence protected nothing if it kept love locked outside the door. Months later, Larkin Road and Rail held its first open-yard supper. Long tables ran between painted safety lines. Drivers brought folding chairs from their trucks. Dispatchers hung plain white bulbs from loading bay to loading bay. Lowell supervised children painting wooden toy trucks. Mina guarded the coffee urn like national infrastructure. Lenora looked alarmed when Alma handed her a ladle. Halfway through supper, a courier arrived with the final regulatory letter. Faye did not want to open it in front of everyone, but Alma said, "If bad news can humiliate publicly, good news can learn manners." So Faye opened it under the dock lights. The state closed its findings against Oren Larkin, with formal acknowledgement that his safety concerns had been substantiated. Additional restitution would be distributed. Larkin Road and Rail's worker safety structure was approved as a regional model. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Tuck Alvarez began clapping. Mina joined. Lowell whistled. The sound grew, not elegant, not coordinated, not polite. It rolled across the dock and came back from the metal doors louder. Faye pressed the letter to her chest. Noah leaned close. Your father would have pretended to hate the attention. He would also ask whether tomorrow's routes were covered. They are. Director of Accountability, she said, and elbowed him when he smiled. Near the visitor gate, Derek stood alone. His lawyer had requested permission for him to deliver documents tied to restitution. Noah had asked Faye what she wanted. She had said the gate could open for paperwork, not performance. Derek carried a thin envelope. He looked smaller in the yard lights, not absolved, only reduced. These are reserve account details, he said. Bexley used them for side payments. My lawyer has copies, but your people should have them quickly. Your people, not yours as possession, yours as belonging. Faye accepted the envelope. Thank you. The words were not forgiveness. They were not cruelty either. They were the cleanest thing she could offer. Derek looked toward the workers, the bulbs reflected in truck mirrors, the old blue tractor near the training center. I used to think your father stayed small because he lacked ambition. My father knew the difference between enough and more. Derek let out a thin breath. I never did. No. His gaze shifted to Noah, then back. I mocked him because I thought poverty made him safe to insult. Then I learned he could buy everything I had before sunrise. Faye looked at her husband, who was listening gravely to a child explain a crooked toy truck. You were wrong about which part of him was powerful. And about you, Derek said. She let the words stand without rescuing him. After he left, and after the tables were cleared, Faye found Noah sitting on the edge of the loading dock. The yard was quiet except for the hum of the white bulbs and the distant rail line. Truck 41 rested under its sign. The company looked nothing like the promotional film Derek once played in ballrooms. It looked used, stained, difficult, alive. Faye sat beside Noah with her feet above the concrete. Are you tired? She asked. Yes. Good tired or old tired? Unfamiliar tired. That might be good. It might. She leaned her shoulder against his. Derek brought documents. I saw. Thank you for not hovering. I hovered internally. I know. I could hear it. He laughed softly. Faye slipped the polished cargo seal from her coat pocket. She had carried it all evening without noticing. Do you remember the night he mocked your ring? Yes. Were you angry? When he mocked me? Not much. When he mocked us? Yes. When he threatened Alma, his voice cooled. Very. I was ashamed that night, she said. I thought everyone saw I had fallen. From Derek to you. From champagne to coupons. From a future people envied to a life people pitied. Noah said nothing. But I hadn't fallen. I had stepped out of a display someone else built for me. I just didn't know where my feet were. And now? Now I know the dock is not beneath the ballroom. It holds it up. His eyes shone in the yard light. She took his hand. You were never powerful because you could buy his company. No. No. You were powerful because after you did, you learned to listen to the woman everyone expected you to display. I'm still learning. I know. That is why I am still here. Noah touched his steel ring to hers. The small click vanished into the night sounds of the freight yard. I thought about replacing this, he said. With something expensive? Yes. Don't. I didn't. I did ask Lowell to make another from the same steel, in case yours ever breaks. Faye laughed. That is the most Noah Keane thing you could have done. I considered diamonds for 11 seconds and became uncomfortable. I would have become suspicious. I know. She rested her head against his shoulder. The man beside her had once hidden behind poverty, then behind wealth, then behind silence. He was still quiet. That had not changed, but now his quiet had doors in it. He opened them when she knocked, and sometimes before. The company lights shut off in sections until only the dock bulbs remained. Faye thought of the thermos, the note that said she would know where to look, Derek's laughter dissolving into testimony, and Noah beneath the awning authorizing a purchase while she set the terms of her own rescue. No rescue was clean. No love arrived without the fingerprints of fear, but some people, when shown the harm they had done, did not ask to be praised for regret. They changed the way they held power. Tomorrow there would be routes, audits, payroll disputes, legal calls, and probably a curtain rod still crooked in the kitchen. Tomorrow, Noah would make coffee too strong. Tomorrow, Alma would call with advice disguised as weather. Tomorrow, some headline might reduce them again to poor husband, secret financier, bitter ex, humiliated woman. But tonight, the story belonged to the people under the dock lights. Tonight, Faye Larkin Keene sat beside the quiet man everyone had underestimated and felt no need to explain his worth to anyone. He had bought Derek's company in a single night. Yes, the world would remember that because the world loved reversal more than repair. Faye would remember something else. She would remember that when the laughter stopped, work began. That a dented thermos could outlive a forged empire. That a steel ring made without glamour could hold if the hands wearing it learned honesty. That her father's name had returned, not as nostalgia, but as a standard. That love, real love, did not lift her above the dock and call it salvation. It stood beside her there, under ordinary lights, and asked what needed to be done next.